Welcome to the deep dive, where we'll take all the things you're curious about, you give us the material, and we try to kind of sift through it all and figure out what are the really good parts, the interesting stuff, that kind of thing. So almost like your own little personal research team.
Yeah, think of it as a shortcut to becoming an expert, at least for a little while. And today, we're diving deep into a book one you picked out
Right, exactly.
called Napoli, Luce Ombra. It's by Alessandro Musone. And what's interesting is it kind of hits on a few things you've mentioned that you're really into,
Yeah.
like good love stories.
Oh, yeah. Big fan. Always up for a good romance.
And of course, Naples itself.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, who isn't fascinated by Naples? It's got such a history, a vibe. And plus, you mentioned wanting to learn more about photography, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to get better, both like technically with the camera and all, and, that artistic side, how to make photos that really tell a story.
And this book, it kind of brings all that together. It's got the romance, the setting, the Naples vibe, and it's all seen through the eyes of a photographer.
So it's not just a travel book or just a love story or how to on photography. It's all mixed in.
Exactly. It's kind of like a layered cake, but way more interesting to read, of course.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So, how does this all play out?
Well, the main character is Olga, and she's a photographer. She heads to Naples to specifically learn from this other photographer, Sandro.
So, there's the love story element right there.
Yeah, she's drawn to his work. It speaks to her, the way he sees Naples. And she wants to figure out his secret, his style. That's kind of the spark between them at first anyway.
And she arrives in Naples at a pretty exciting time, right?
Talk about making an entrance.
Hmm.
She gets there just as the city's celebrating winning its third Scudetto. The energy, the excitement, it's all over the
For
place.
someone who hasn't been to Naples, it's probably a real baptism by fire, right?
Totally. It just throws you right into the heart of the city. And its passion, the sounds, the crowds, it's like the whole city's buzzing.
Mm.
The book does an amazing job of making you feel like you're there right in the middle of it all.
I bet. So we get to experience Naples through her eyes as she's taking it all in.
Yeah, she describes it in a way that makes you almost smell the sea air, feel the energy in the streets.
It's funny, sometimes it's those sensory details that really bring a place to life more than just the sights.
Absolutely. Like, she buys a cornicello, that little horn charm you see everywhere. She doesn't even really believe in superstitions, but buys one anyway. It's like she's open to uh, I don't know, the magic of Naples, I guess.
Makes sense. So where does she go from there?
Well, she starts exploring, and this is where the photography element really comes in. Piazza Dante, with all the street musicians playing.
I bet it's tough trying to capture that kind of energy in a photo, right? Like, how do you make a still image feel like a whole performance is happening?
Exactly, and the book shows her grappling with that. She doesn't want just a picture. She wants to convey the feeling, the connection between the musicians and the people watching.
It's like, what makes a good photo?
Right. It's more than just pointing the camera and clicking.
So where else does she go? Does she hit up any of the classic Naples spots?
Oh yeah, she goes to the open market. And the way she describes it, it's like sensory overload in the best way possible. The vendors shouting, the smells of basil, tomatoes, fresh fish. You can practically taste it reading about it.
It sounds a lot more interesting than my local supermarket.
Oh, for sure. And she even picks up on these little interactions, the way the people interact. Like one vendor gives her basil for good luck. It just shows this warmth, this sense of community that's so typical of Naples.
Did she try the pizza?
Of course she does.
Hmm?
And even something as simple as eating pizza becomes an observation about Naples. It's not just about the food. It's about families gathering, this old couple sharing a slice, a group of kids all excited after a football match, the whole atmosphere.
So pizza is more like a cultural experience.
Exactly. And she starts to see this in everything. It's what Sandra will teach her later with photography,
Yeah.
how to look beyond just the surface.
Right. So we have the love story brewing, the Naples exploration going on, and this photography element is starting to develop.
And let's not forget football. You can't talk about Naples without mentioning football.
True.
I mean, she sees Maradona everywhere. Murals, flags, you name it.
Is he like a god over there?
Kind of, yeah. He represents so much more than just a footballer. It's about hope, pride, resilience. It's all tied up with Naples itself.
It sounds intense.
It is, and you see that in the art too. After they win the Scudetto, there are these murals popping up everywhere, artists pouring their hearts into capturing what Naples means to them.
So it's like the whole city's an art project.
In a way, yeah.
What about the photography lessons? How do those start?
So she finally convinces Sandro to teach her. And first lesson, he takes her to this little grocery store, nothing fancy, and he tells her to photograph it.
Okay, but not just like a snapshot, right?
No, he tells her to look beyond the appearance. What's the story of this place, of the guy who runs it?
That's deep.
Yeah, she has to look at the details, the owner's hands, how he arranges the produce, everything. And she starts to see this story of hard work, dedication.
That's cool. It's like finding a story in every day.
Yeah, and that's Sandra's whole thing. Photography is about seeing, really seeing.
So what else does he teach her?
Well, he covers the basics too, of course, like the rule of thirds. They practice that at the Fountain of Neptune, I think.
The rule of thirds. Refresh my memory.
Yeah, it's about where you place things in the frame, like dividing the image into 9 sections, using those lines and intersections to make it more interesting, balanced.
Oh, right, right.
Composition, that's a big one too.
Yeah.
Like how you arrange everything in the photo to tell the story, you know, draw the eye where you want it to go.
It's making me think about all the bad photos I've taken.
Well, everyone starts somewhere. They go to the train station, Naples Central. And he talks about symmetry, using the lines of the building, but also how too much symmetry can be boring.
So it's like knowing the rules, but also knowing when to break them.
Yeah, that's art for you.
Okay, so she's learning the technical stuff, but also this deeper way of seeing.
Yeah, like when they're in the Quartieri Spagnoli. He emphasizes patience, really feeling the scene before you take the photo, observing, connecting.
Like with people, right? You were saying you love a good love story, so think about capturing that feeling between two people in a photo.
Exactly. It's not just a portrait, it's an emotion, a connection.
That's cool, but how do you know when to actually take the picture?
It's something she struggles with. But there's this great part where they're listening to street musicians, and Sandro tells her to wait, to feel for the right moment.
What does that even mean?
It's hard to explain, but she watches the guitarist, his eyes closed as he plays, then the drummer, his face lit up after a solo, and she gets it. It's about that split second where everything comes together.
Wow, that's almost poetic.
And they talk about minimalism too, like in a busy city, how do you capture the essence without showing everything? They practice this at the cloister of Santa Chiara. It's all about finding those key elements, the colors, the light, and simplifying.
Sounds peaceful.
It is. And then light and shadow, that's huge. How light can create mood, tell a story. Like they're in the Fontenelle Cemetery and the tunnels underneath the city, and the way the light falls there, it's haunting almost.
And she's getting better at taking photos.
Yeah, but she makes mistakes too, which is important, you know. You learn from that. It's not about being perfect, it's about capturing the feeling.
So what about the love story? What happens with her and Sandro?
Well, as they're doing all this photography stuff, they're getting closer. And there's this point where he takes her to the tunnels, the ones I was talking about. And he says he sees his own soul reflected there in the darkness, in the history.
That's pretty intense.
It is. And then later, she says she took her best photo, and it's a photo of him. So they're seeing each other, really seeing each other.
And then
Well, they kiss on the beach. It's like the turning point from teacher-student to something more.
nice.
And they go on this trip to Capri, Villa San Michele, the Faraglioni. It's all very romantic, and he starts to open up about his past, and they start talking about a future together.
Capri, huh? Sounds lovely.
It is. And then they go to the Blue Grotto. It's this cave where the water glows blue. It's kind of unreal. And it's like this magical moment for them. They don't even need to say anything. They just understand.
So things are getting serious.
Yeah, and they come back to Naples, and it's like they've both changed. They start planning an exhibition together, their photos of Naples.
That's ambitious.
It is, but they're both so passionate about it. They want to show people the soul of Naples, the real Naples, not just the tourist stuff.
And they actually pull it off.
Oh yeah, they have this opening night, and it's a huge success. And all the money from selling the photos goes to charity for rare disease research.
That's amazing. So they're a real power couple now.
Pretty much. And then, get this, he proposes to her on the Amalfi Coast, under the stars.
Wow. That's like something out of a movie.
It is. And they decide to get married in Amalfi, in this beautiful old basilica.
So the book ends with a wedding.
Yeah. The ceremony, it sounds beautiful. The music, their vows, the whole atmosphere. It's like everything they've been through, it all led to this moment.
And they lived happily ever after.
The book doesn't say that exactly, but it ends with them walking out of the church as husband and wife, ready for a new chapter together.
It's a good story, and it connects back to what we were talking about before, right? Seeing beyond the surface, finding the beauty in the everyday, the connections between people.
Exactly. It's about more than just looking. It's about feeling, understanding. whether it's a person, a place, a moment in time.
And capturing that with a camera or just with your own eyes.
Exactly.
So what do you think? What story is waiting to be told right here, right now?
Who knows? But I think that's the beauty of it. There's always something new to discover if you just open your eyes and your heart.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, folks. We'll catch you next time.
Until then, keep exploring.
And keep diving deep.